Happy Easter Sunday, everybody. This is CBH4K, and this is Star Wars Zero Company. We'll be looking at the trailer, then we'll be looking at a couple of articles, and then we'll just be, speculating as we go of what's going to be coming. But without further ado, let's just begin. I'm excited for this game, and I hope it does well. But at the same time, I know, they haven't been exactly batting 1,000. You catch my drift? Lucasfilm has been batting 1,000. But this is a new
people talk about
company, Bioreactor.
They talk about the big moments, the crisis points, planetary invasions.
Okay, now this has been talked about a lot in the upcoming articles, but you will be doing missions, and you will be able to pick your missions. I think they didn't outright say it, but I hope that was on display there, and you'll be able to go there in the galaxy and just to take care of it. You'll also be working on your base. I wonder if you'll have a mobile base or a stationary base. I'm curious.
Out assaults, cities bombed or rubble. Truth is, there's a war you don't see. The one fought in the shadows. The war beneath the war. A war that's won with the right strategy. Surveillance, ciphers, good old-fashioned sabotage.
Let's go back a bit here.
A war that's won with the right strategy. Surveillance, ciphers, good old-fashioned sabotage. These aren't the heroes they tell stories about. They're professionals.
This is a very diverse group, and I like the use of different tools and toolkits in there, implying that there's going to be different types of missions, different types of way to win in a mission, which will be very interesting.
Differences to take on the impossible. But that's the job, and they get it done.
I also like the fact they showed off the different character types. Like they showed off Jedis, they showed off like assassins and bounty hunters and Mandalorians and clone troopers and astromech. Like from what I gather here, there's probably gonna be 6 people you can have in a squad, and I'm guessing I'm counting the droid. The droid will probably act as a 6 member. Maybe it's attached to somebody. We'll see. So there'll be rocket packs in there. That should be interesting. Alright, let's take a look back at that. Alright, yeah, that looks pretty good. It's got a nice little wheel there. I guess that's for console players. And sniper. Okay, well, that was a little bit of gameplay. We got mostly cinematic and like very little gameplay. I like the design here. That looks pretty good. A Star Wars lore expert will be able to tell you certain things about that armor design. I do know there's certain designs like for Mandalorians. Like I think this guy might be Deathwatch, and I'm not sure. I'm not a lore expert. You're gonna have to go to someone like Star Wars Theory or something like that to figure that out. I do like the designs of robots. There's a grenade. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, it looks pretty good with a little bit of gameplay. Let's just see what the... Yeah, so you'll be able to select from that wheel. There's special abilities. You'll be able to take... looks like you'll be able to take out a large group. And like you'll be fighting a bunch of them at the same time. But I'm guessing their HP is going to be like garbage or something like that. You'll be able to wipe them out in a couple of good hits. Maybe just one good hit with like a grenade. And like, I could see this being very good. I could see it being very good. Like, there's not that much to go off of here. But it looks like they'll be using grenades, precise shooting, force powers. Those are all good things. Those are all very good things. Those are all things I had on my wish list to this game. If you want to see my wish list, I have it down in the description of this video or at the very end screen of the video as well. You can check out my wish list of things I wanted to see in this game. I won't go into detail of whether or not they made it in by the looks of this, but it looks like some of them did make it in. Yeah, overall, it looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. I mean, okay. If you're not a turn-based tactical person, this won't be that good to you. But it does look like it has a very, like if this is your first one, you'll be able to do it. It'll be like a good gateway drug for other ones. It looks pretty solid. It looks pretty solid looking. Is it the best I've ever seen? Not really. I think Gears Tactics was the best interface for, and that's what I'm talking about, the interface. It was the best interface that I saw for any turn-based tactical game, Gears Tactics. You should check that one out if you haven't. Overall, I think it's pretty decent. It's an okay trailer. I like that there were some hits at gameplay and a little bit of gameplay in the trailer. That was nice. This feels like an announcement trailer more than anything, like where they just show a little bit of stuff like that. For the next trailer, I hope they do gameplay. You really should focus on gameplay for games like this. You shouldn't focus on simple graphics. You know what I mean? Like, you should focus on gameplay. You shouldn't focus on presentation, I should say. You should focus on giving the player an idea of what they're buying with their money. And it is their money until you can convince them that this is a worthwhile venture in their entertainment. Okay, let's move on to the next thing. Let's move on to the Variety article. 2026. That's its launch date and is by Electronic Arts. Story set in the Clone Wars. Alright, Electronic Arts and Lucasfilm are teaming up for Star Wars Zero Company, a new single-player turn-based tactics game set during the Clone Wars era in the Star Wars universe, developed by BitReactor in collaboration with Respawn Entertainment and Lucasfilm Games. In Star Wars Zero Company, players will step into the shoes of Hawks, a former Republic officer, to command an elite squad of cunning operatives through a gritty and authentic story set in the twilight of the Clone Wars. As an unconventional outfit of professionals for hire hailing from across the galaxy, Zero Company must set aside their differences to overcome nearly impossible odds and take on an emergent threat that will consume the galaxy if left unchecked. The game is revealed out of Star Wars Celebration Japan on Saturday will include a cast of new Star Wars characters that are alterable within the player's squad. Okay, so we can shift them around and customize them. Okay. Hawk's appearance and combat class can be fully customized, while recruiting operatives can be personalized from a range of original Star Wars characters, classes, and species, including clone troopers, astromechs, and even a Jedi. According to BitReactor, Star Wars Company Zero Company will be released on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox X and S consoles. Okay, so basically there's some customization. That's good. But it sounds like you'll be able to recruit some of it. I feel like they have at least one character that's going to be your character, and you're going to have to customize it. I'm a little iffy on like having a player-based character, because the player should be in the ship or on the command center, not in actual combat. But I understand why they did it. Our vision of Star Wars Zero Company is grounded in gameplay design pillars that weave in the immersive galaxy with engaging turn-based tactics gameplay. BitReactor's CEO and creative director Greg Forsyth said it's our aim to deliver a game with an original Star Wars story from the Clone Wars era that has meaningful outcomes from player choices, deep turn-based tactical combat with an approachable and cinematic presentation, which is basically what XCOM was. It was a approachable and cinematic presentation. Like, if you were brand new to it, you could, like most people who started out, like XCOM was their first one, really, and it was very approachable. It had very simple rules, and it was very cinematic. It felt like you were playing an account of an epic invasion, and it was almost a B movie sort of in the first XCOM. Enemy within and Enemy Unknown. Like, it was really that good. If you haven't played it, you should go play it. It's pretty good. I keep saying pretty good because it was. At Lucasfilm Games, we're huge tactics fans, and we have wanted to make a game like this for a long time. Lucasfilm General Manager and Vice President Douglas Bailey added, "The best tactics games are all about meaningful choices, and we're confident we have chosen the right squad and BitReactor to deliver a compelling, innovative title that is authentic to Star Wars." What's the trailer here? Okay. So it sounds like they really did put in the effort to make a very interesting a combination of Star Wars and XCOM, and I think it could work if they did what they promised in this article. Like, being the twilight of the Clone Wars means they're going to be at the very end of the war, and it might not be. If you've seen the movies, the prequel movies, you'll know how that ended. If you saw the original trilogy, then you know how it ends. Any like Star Wars content will kind of tell you how the Clone Wars ended. I don't want to spoil it to you, but it suffice to say it wasn't a very happy ending. But I do see it it being a very interesting moment for the gameplay and for storytelling in general. So yeah, that was a good idea to set here. That was a very good idea. Space.com. Alright, this is the last article I'm going to read. It's from Space.com. I couldn't find anything from EA or Space, or I don't know what you call it, Lucasfilm itself, that really covered what I wanted to talk about. So, well, we'll use this article instead. The future of upcoming Star Wars games is looking bright again, but we can say certain genres are greatly underrepresented, as most publishers and studios try to craft cinematic games first and foremost. Thankfully, BitReactor and Respawn Entertainment. Just gonna get that out of here. Thankfully, BitReactor and Respawn Entertainment are bringing traditional turn-based gameplay to Star Wars Galaxy with Star Wars Zero Company. First details, screenshots, and trailers shared a few days after the announcement via social media Switch 2 port. The story is set in a twilight of the Star Wars, Clone Wars, and follows Hawks, an ex-Republic officer tasked with creating a command and an elite squad in order to take down an emerging threat that apparently can't be neutralized through use of traditional warfare. Interesting. The twist: Hawks and the recruits can be fully customized and prepared for action however you want. It's our aim to deliver a game with the original Star Wars from Clone Wars era that was meaningful outcomes for players' choices and deep turn-based tactics combat and approachable and cinematic presentation, said Greg Frocci, CEO and creative director at Bit Reactor. By the way, these are a lot of people who were from the studio that created XCOM, so they'll be very good at. They could be very good at this, like relatively solid. If you're thinking Star Wars Zero Company sounds a lot like XCOM Enemy Unknown, one of the best alien invasion games ever, you're on to something. Bit Reactor was founded by ex-Firaxis, XCOM, and Civilization devs. It seems that EA and Lucasfilm Games have just let them and co-developer Respawn go wild. Interesting. Just as I said it, I read that part with it. But also, what's really interesting to me is that they said go wild. What does that mean? That they give them complete creative freedom? Because that could be very useful, and it could make this game could do very well. Like, as both a tactical games fan and a Star Wars fan, this could scratch both itches really well. Like, I know there's a few Star Wars mods for XCOM, and I haven't really touched them, but I think this game will really bring me into that. And I think like I said, Clone Wars era is Twilight is a perfect time to set a game here. Alongside the first details and trailer, a bunch of in-game screenshots give us a taste of some custom characters and turn-based tactics set in galaxies far, far away, where Zero Company aims to entice us with. I like to echo. From time to time. From clone troopers to astromech to Jedi, each player's Zero Company will be tailored to their own unique play style. Not only that, but you'll also meet a cast of newly authored Star Wars characters, if you ask us, probably some Clone Wars legends as well. Like, I do feel like they let them do with their own thing, but they also gave them a few characters to have fun with. Like, I feel like this is in the peripheral enough that I don't see much what you call it. Here, let me play this whilst we talk. We'll watch this. Like, it's in peripheral enough so that most people don't have to worry about it, or like Lucasfilm isn't going to scrutinize it too harshly, and you'll be able to see much more flexibility from the developers, and basically the story crafted here will be, I would say, better than most of Disney Star Wars content, but yeah, it probably will, because they'll just be able to do what they want instead of having to adhere to a particular style. We'll call it that, a style of storytelling that hasn't been very appealing to most people. And I'll leave it at that. I do enjoy this, and I am excited for it, but I'm also like, well, let's see a little bit more before we get too much on the hype train, because let's be honest, modern gaming has thoroughly bitten us all once or twice, and we should always be cautiously optimistic at the very best. And with that, I thank you for your time, and also, may the Force be with you.